I wanted you to tell God's people your story that I love so much, and I also love hearing it.
Which one?
The one about when I don't remember when you had a job before you met me
Oh, yeah?
and before you had children, and was it in London?
Oh, in London, the nasty boss. Oh,
Yes,
yeah,
the
yeah.
boss
The
that
boss.
you I want to hear the story again about, and I want you guys to hear the story about when Catherine, how old were you?
About probably 20,
All of
19, 20.
20,
Yeah.
nineteen,
Baby Catherine.
20,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you
Oh,
had
I was so green. Like
so
so
green.
green, fresh off the boat. Went to London with my friend Tracy because we had always studied languages together and I'd always gone to France or Germany and she'd gone somewhere else. So we decided let's go somewhere English speaking for the summer and
Just
just
to
have the
relax.
just to relax. Exactly. So we went to London. We didn't get too far, but we got to London. And yeah, I was so green. I literally was very, very naive. But anyway, I ended up working in this place. And my boss, I ended up covering someone's maternity leave. So it was a short
Okay.
term contract
Because
just for
that's
the
all you
summer.
were available for
Exactly.
anyway, right?
And so all energetic, full of enthusiasm, working away and
What was the
just
job though? What did it, like a
well, I was kind of
secretary?
his EA, yeah.
Okay.
So looking after different day-to-day things. But I was what just weird things started happening and I just knew my gut it wasn't right. So it started with some text messages in the morning saying, I'm just after getting out of the shower and I'm dripping wet. And I remember thinking, ooh, gross, that's weird. Oof, there's
Ugh.
no need to tell me that.
Wait,
And
let paint a picture of this
yeah.
gentleman.
Oh God. Oh God.
Paint a picture.
Oh God. Like it actually makes me want to hurl.
Okay.
Like
How old?
60, I would say, a bit
Not that
more.
that's old, but
No, but it
she's
is when you're
20.
20.
Okay.
Yeah. White hair, no problem with any of those things, but just definitely overweight. And for some strange reason, at this like white stuff
In
here
the
on the side of
corners
his
of his
mouth.
mouth. Okay.
Like gross. Anyway, I was able to put up with
Sounds
all that.
hot.
Like not hot. And I did not want to know he'd got out of the shower and he's dripping wet either. Thanks.
Okay.
Did not need that visual. And so anyway, but it was then continued on to say, and I'll be at that meeting at 9 o'clock. So he'd
Right, right.
still,
So it's
yes, it's
business. It's
business, but it's not.
business.
So anyway, that was a few text messages like that. Then his wife asked me to send me his itinerary. And at the time, people were using fax machines, and I had to fax his wife his itinerary. So I think she didn't totally trust him either to be asking for his
Okay.
movements. And anyway, there was a work party, and it was on the Kensington rooftop gardens, and he asked me did I want to freshen up in his room beforehand. And again, little naive me, I was like, no, it's fine, I'm actually meeting Tracy, Tracy and I are going to hang out and then we're going to go to the party,
Yeah, yeah. So don't
so
worry.
don't worry, you can freshen up yourself in your hotel room. Like, fine, way over my head. Anyway, now I was totally naive. Like I remember even a guy asking me out in London and I had no clue.
Uh-huh.
Like he rang me on the house phone in the house that we're staying in London. And he said, would you like to go for tapas? And I was like, yeah, sure. Myself and Tracy would love to come.
Yeah.
So Tracy was coming everywhere with me.
That's how Kristen and I used to date as well. I'll tell you
It
that
was
later.
like a
But go
group
on. Yeah.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So again,
Wow.
yeah, I was just so like really not experienced and no worldly,
And here you are working in a corporate
yeah, oh,
environment? Okay, okay.
very corporate, major corporate, a well-known company. And anyway, I go in one morning and he asks me to sit down in his office and he closes the shutters. So he shuts the blinds. And I'm like, God, this is
Ew.
very strange. Yeah. And I'm sitting opposite him and he said, you remind me of my daughter. And I will
I'm
never forget
hurling.
this for
Okay.
as long as I live. And I could not even possibly make this up. He said, you remind me of my daughter and she still sits on my knee and I ping her bra strap. Now stop it.
Blech.
Like that is the most awful thing ever. I was like, "Ugh." Like my dad would never say that and that's disgusting and this guy is acting really weird now. So I was like, oh right, okay, very strange. Anyway, um I just kind of dealt with it. Now weirdly, at the time, I broke out in all these spots on my face.
Yeah. It was
It
like to
was
repel him
it was definitely
related.
stressing me and getting in on me. But again, I was like, this is very strange, not right, and I don't like it. I did go to HR and
Good.
I had to say, that he shut the blinds and he said something really inappropriate, and I told them what they said. So they were like, "Oh, right, okay, that's not cool." And I was like, "No, it's not cool." But again, he was like the big boss, so they didn't do
Yeah.
anything about it. So roll on about another 1 or 2 weeks. And I go into the office and he calls me into his office again. I was like, oh God, here we go again.
And now you know,
And
right?
now
Now
I'm like,
every time you get a sense,
yeah.
but it doesn't happen every day.
No. And he
But
travels a
sometimes
lot
they
and he's
yeah, okay,
busy, so
okay.
he's not there all the time, thank God. So I go into the office and he said, I have some questions that I want to ask you. And I said, okay, sure, no problem. And so he had written out in his own handwriting these questions. How do you see our relationship going? Sexual, non-sexual, just friends? And I was like, oh my Lord. So I remember getting my nails and putting them, like squeezing them into my hands like this, and literally having little crescent shaped nail marks on my hands, because just to kind of take
That pain
the
away and
pain
put
away,
and
exactly, and concentrate on this so I just wouldn't cry.
mm.
And I was like, just friends, and all the answers,
Was
just
it like,
friends.
did he make a note?
He had questions and then a little columns, and he
Oh, he
was
did a PowerPoint.
he was like, he had these questions, he had thought about them, he had written them out in his own handwriting, and he actually, it was the weirdest thing. He was like, how do you see our relationship going? Sexual, non-sexual, just friends? And I was like, just friends. And he ticked the just friends column. Would you be willing to travel with me? I was like, no, just friends. And he would tick the just friends. Yeah.
Was this printed or written by
In
hand?
his own handwriting. Okay.
By his hand.
By his hand.
Okay.
Yes. So I know I wasn't much of a sleuth myself, but at the time, what I did was I answered the questions. He ripped them up and put them in the bin and left. And I left the office and I was like,
It's like one of those times when they're making a deal and then they write like, we're looking at this number, and it's like they write down like $10 billion and then they put it across the desk. And he was like, okay, well that deal didn't go, and he
that
throws it
didn't
away.
work. Yeah.
Go on. So he rips them up and puts
So
them
he
in the
rips
wastebasket.
up the page and puts it in the bin. And all I could think about was like, all right, I need to get that out of the bin. So I go off about my business, and oftentimes I would bring him lunch and he would have lunch at his desk. So I just stuck my head in. I was like, I'm going down to Pret a Manger, get him a sandwich. So I got him a sandwich and crisps, brought them back, and I got the smelliest food
On
you could
purpose.
imagine. On purpose. On purpose. I was like, something that is going to stink like onions, and really, really like, they didn't have cheese and onion crisps. They only had like vegetable crisps, but the smelliest things I could get. I can still
Diabolique.
remember.
Diabolique. Go on.
Totally.
Tell us.
So I drop him in his lunch and I leave him to it. And then about half an hour later, I come in. I said, oh, your 3 o'clock is outside. And I go in, I take his bin out, and I'm like, I'm just going to take this out because the room really stinks. And I take the bin out with no intention of doing anything with it, only taking the paper, piecing it together, sellotaping it, photocopying it 3 times. And I went up to HR and I was like, here's your proof. And within about 20 minutes, he was marched off the premises. And
20 minutes.
yeah, 20 minutes later, because what he asked it was in his handwriting. He hung himself out to dry, and his questions were completely inappropriate. And
How long did you guys date after that?
yeah, 3 years. No,
Just kidding.
no, not at all. But imagine, this is like, for me, all the time, my moral compass was like, my dad would never do that. My dad would never speak to anyone like that. So I didn't know I knew it was wrong. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know it was in any way like sexual harassment. I didn't have
You were just like, something's not
I was
right,
like-
even though you didn't have a name for
no,
it.
I didn't have a name for it, but I was like, my dad would never treat someone like this, never treat a work colleague like this, never treat anyone like this.
Another
and that-
lady.
Another lady, like anyone. So my gut was telling me the whole time, obviously, this is off, this is off, this is off, this is wrong.
Did you ever know what happened to him in the end?
Yeah, he got fired. He got fired. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
And wasn't there, you said like
Oh.
somebody wanted to pay you money to tell
Oh,
the
that
story.
is true. That is true. But also, a few people came forward after I came forward.
See, you saved the day.
Well, I don't know if I
You might
saved
have
the day.
saved other girls though, because like, listen, I don't want to say weaker women. I'm not, strike that. I'm saying women who might have more trauma in their
Or
history,
more to lose.
more to lose, more trauma where they just
Mm.
freeze and they're like, I guess this is life.
Yeah. Well, I suppose I did freeze a couple of times as well.
Sure.
Because I was like, this is crazy. Is this a joke?
Yeah.
But He ran a snooker queue up a lady's leg at a work weekend away. She was bent over playing snooker, and he
I
ran the
love how
snooker.
they think we love that.
And then another girl came forward because every time he passed the coffee machine when she was there, he'd slap her bum. Yeah. So they all came forward as well. Yeah.
You're a doggone hero.
Well,
You are. You actually are. That was a hard thing to do. It was a hard thing to pull off. You did it in a way where they're like, okay, we've got.
yeah, we've got like I had the best evidence. I had his
That was really
handwriting.
good
Yeah.
in stinky sandwich.
Yeah. So it was like, welcome to the real world, welcome to the workforce, and what an eye opener. But it was, I have told my kids that, I've told my friends that. So I always like it's not a great story, but it's a story that don't let people walk all over you. Stand
Yeah.
up for yourself, as hard as it might be. And again, it did take a little bit of time.
Yeah, this
It
is a nice little
didn't.
story after the fact.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And yes, I did get offered money to sell my story because at the time we were doing something, it was a major well-known company,
Mm.
and I got contacted by a newspaper, but I said no because I was
Oh
just
my
not.
God, a
Yeah.
hero and
No,
with
no,
morals.
I
I
didn't.
love it.
I didn't want to do something like that.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh my God. I could
Yeah.
be so rich if I would never.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
never
I
tell
was
any
like, yeah.
stories like that.